Sorry about that, babe.
What's up, guys? It's Cody, aka the Bear, here with Bits in Glory, and we are coming at you with kind of an end of the year recap video. Full disclosure, the time of me recording this is about mid-November. I'll get into that in a bit, but this will be released to the general masses before the end of the year. So the purpose of the video is kind of twofold. I wanted to give proper recognition and shout-outs to all of my channel members, the ones that have come and gone, and that are here, clearly. And besides that, I wanted to kind of recap. I made a video earlier in the year about what kind of RPGs and things I wanted to play throughout, and I wanted to see if I got to any of those or not, and then kind of set some low-level goals for 2025. So first off, members. Whether you used to be a member or are a member currently, thank you so much. Your support really means a lot. Generally, the support that I've received from members has gone right back into the channel in some capacity, whether that be equipment for recording, the games themselves, things like that. So it is definitely much appreciated. And people that have been continued members, you know who you are. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. You'll be actually receiving super duper early access to this video, almost like a month plus in advance. And I do want to be transparent because I've never bullshitted you guys. You know, I purposely don't add advertisements in the middle of my videos because I don't want to annoy people, even though I could probably make like an extra $10 to $15 a month if I do that. But the main reason that I'm making this video so early is YouTube offered something for partners where if I make 2 long form member videos and keep them members only for a certain amount of time, they'll actually pay me some decent money. So I'm just getting that out there. I planned on making this video anyway, but it kind of spurred the process on a little bit quicker. So just letting you guys know, and thank you so much for being a member. I really do truly appreciate it. All right, now we're gonna take a quick little dive back into the stuff that I said that I was gonna play RPG wise in 2024, and let's see where we're at with that. It's not very good, not very good. So what did I get to? Well, funny enough, I got to a lot of the extras and things like that, but as far as the mainline things, I didn't get to that many. I did do a lot of From Software challenge runs, which I said that I was going to do. I did most recently Dark Souls Soul Level 4, bow only, all bosses. That was a highly edited video. If you haven't checked that out yet, I'll list all this stuff in the pinned comment description. I do recommend you check it out. I condensed my entire, I don't know how long it was, probably like 12-hour playthrough maybe into about a 4-hour video. Felt like it's pretty entertaining and pretty funny. Cut a lot of the bullshit out, you know what I mean? So just kind of get straight to the point there. I also did Elden Ring, Rune Level 1, 0 Shadow Tree Blessings, Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC, all bosses. That was very difficult. All of the Remembrance bosses and Bale. I put those videos up. I didn't do like a complete run of that like I did for the bow only run in Dark Souls, but want to check those out, feel free. I also did Dark Souls 2, Soul Level 1, Company of Champions, all bosses. A lot of the bosses were no hit, but it wasn't no hit all the way through. That was not a fun run. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It's just not fun because with Company of Champions, everything hits harder. You take, you deal less damage, and there is no despawn, which is a, you know, pretty popular mechanic in DS2. So the tough areas, you can't despawn the enemies and run through. It's not fun. It's not fun. I also did Dark Souls 3, Soul Level 1, all bosses, no hit, no parry, segmented of course. Most of the notable boss kills are up on my channel. Again, I didn't do an entire run of that. I'm gonna get in the habit of just doing entire runs and editing it. Yes, does it take a little bit longer on my end? Sure, but I feel like the end product is obviously a little bit better for you guys, so. And another extra that I got to was Lies of P. Loved the game. I did mention that I wasn't going to cover it, and I didn't cover it. Will I replay it at some point in the future? The answer is probably yes, because I think a DLC is coming out, and there also might be a sequel, if I remember correctly, in the works. So I will be revisiting that in the future. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. If you're a Souls fan, it's about as close as it can get from a third party that's not From Software. I highly recommend it. Okay, now as far as stuff on my actual list that I got to in 2024, it's a very short list. One thing. Out of my 5 games that I mentioned, got to one of them. And that was the 7th Saga, which I had a blast with. I put up my playthrough with Valsu up on my channel as well as a review. Absolutely loved it, and I actually loved it so much that I immediately went into the sequel, Mystic Arc. And, you know, that's part of the reason why I wasn't able to get to so many games, was it kind of veered off track. But 7th Saga was a blast, and I truly enjoyed it and highly recommend it. If you don't like grinding and challenge, probably wouldn't play the vanilla version if I were you, and maybe seek out a ROM hack or something like the Elnard Japanese translation version, but personal favorite of mine, so check that out if you haven't already. All right, and what didn't I get to? And let me preface here by saying part of the reason why I didn't get to a lot of these is my schedule's changed. For those that have been really in tune with the channel, you guys know that earlier in the year my wife was having some health problems. They've kind of lingered on and off throughout the year. And in general, guys, I'm getting older. You know, I have a full-time job, I have a family, there's a lot of things that go on after work, and truthfully, I get tired most nights. And with everything that's going on, you know, with my wife's health and whatnot, combining all that stuff together, it's been very difficult to find a consistent recording schedule, let alone a streaming schedule, which is why I don't really stream much at all anymore. That's a big part of the reason why I didn't get around to everything. I would say like in years past, maybe like 2-3 years ago, I probably would have got to at least 2 to 3 other RPGs and maybe like another no death run on top of what I already have done for the channel. So that's just something to consider. But what didn't we get to? Let's start with the extras. I did mention for FromSoft stuff that I was going to go back to Bloodborne. I didn't. However, they have been working a lot on the emulated version of it, which allows you to run it at 60 FPS and higher resolutions. So I think when that's completely, totally like finalized and really stable, I know that it's stable, I know that it's relatively finalized. I think you could even play through the DLC at this point. But I want to make sure that it's all good and play it at its maximum, and I will do a run on the PC. I can play on my PS5, but the 30 FPS is blech. I hate it. It's so bad. I know, I sound like a snob. I just hate it. I had also mentioned that I wanted to play the Final Fantasy IV Ultima ROM hack. Didn't get around to that. That's on my list for 2025 because I do want to revisit Final Fantasy IV at some point, but I'm not going to hold myself to it. And now as far as things on the list, specifically my 5 games that I had mentioned in that other video that I didn't get to, said that I was going to get to Shining Force 2 scenario, or excuse me, Shining Force 3 scenario 2 and 3. I didn't. And I know that a big part of my fan base on my channel is Shining Force related, especially people that like Shining Force 3, so I apologize there. In a perfect world, yes, I would have got to it. I'll try to get to it in 2025. I don't know, I veer off so much. Like right now I'm playing Paladin's Quest. That wasn't on my radar. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Quest 64. Still waiting to break the ice for the first Nintendo 64 game that I cover for my channel. As you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of that console. I actually think I can get to Quest 64 this year. You know what? Mark it down. I will get to it. And if I don't, you could ridicule me in next year's recap video. And one that was definitely tossed around in my head, one that came down to, am I gonna play this or this? RoboTrek, that's another one that I do plan on getting to in 2025. It's been like this close to being covered like 3 or 4 times now, but I veered off course. I know RoboTrek was in consideration when I played Phantasy Star 2. RoboTrek was in consideration early in the year, but I think I got so wrapped up with 7 Saga that I went right into Mystic Arc. I was probably going to just play RoboTrek right after that, but it is what it is. And there's another one on the list that it's funny that it came up, right? Because they ended up doing a 2D, 3D HD remake or whatever for Dragon Warrior 3, Dragon Quest 3. I didn't get to it, but I told you guys I'm recording this video around mid-November, and I'm about 1/3 of the way through Paladin's Quest. So I actually anticipate that I'll be able to get to Dragon Warrior 3. I am putting my foot down, and Dragon Warrior 3 is going to be my next RPG that I cover after Paladin's Quest. So there's actually a really good chance that I will get to that. At least I got 2 out of 5 there. And I mentioned, like, you know, it's kind of funny, whatever, all that kind of stuff regarding Dragon Warrior because of the remakes and all that, there's been a lot of hype around the franchise, and I noticed my Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 content has kind of spiked up in the last few weeks. Alright, and I mentioned some games that I didn't get to that I hope to get to, or a game like Dragon Warrior 3 that I am going to get to before the end of the year. And I have a list of random games that, well, most are RPGs and then some aren't, of projects that I have in my mind and I'm going to try to get to this year, because like I said, I am getting into a little bit more of a groove. I think my schedule's kind of back a little bit, so I should have a little bit more time. It's not going to be like it used to be, but I think I'll have a little bit more time this year than I did last year, fingers crossed. So first off, non-RPGs, I'm actually going to recover and cover a bunch of the point-and-click adventure MacVenture games. Shadowgate, Uninvited, Deja Vu, Deja Vu 2, and Beyond Shadowgate. I'm going to be doing playthroughs of these myself. I'm going to be doing reviews and re-reviews in a case of Shadowgate, and I think I probably reviewed Uninvited. I want to re-review that as well, because old. Games like Deja Vu 2, and Beyond Shadowgate will be entirely new playthroughs. And I also want to play through most of these with my wife too, because I feel like these games are pretty fun for people that haven't beaten them yet. One of the main reasons like you want to watch people play these types of games is to see them fail over and over again. Or like, you know, a game like Dark Souls, for example, you want to see a first playthrough to see people fail. So I think it'd be pretty fun and funny, and a way for me to connect with my wife and get her on the channel a little bit. So as far as RPGs go, kind of compiled an interesting list here. As you guys know, I really did enjoy Breath of Fire and Breath of Fire 2. I do finally want to get to Breath of Fire 3. I've heard nothing but great things about it. I remember it when I was a kid. My neighbor was playing it. I think my friends had it. I just never really got around to it. I do know that it's pretty intensive. I think that it could be easily over 50 hours, especially if you play slow and casually like me, so I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do there exactly. I like doing Let's Plays, I do, but something that's like 50 hours is a big commitment, tough for me to get through in a timely fashion, but you have my word that I'm gonna try to get through it. No matter what, I will cover it. I'm gonna try to get a playthrough for you guys though. I will definitely do a review. A game that I'm gonna do just a playthrough for that I've been meaning to wrap back around to is Eternal Ring, which is a launch title on the PS2 for From Software. I played it on the PS5 actually years ago, and I reviewed it. My review actually has decent traction for my channel, so I'm not going to re-review that. Am I thrilled with the review? No, but it's not bad or anything. I know I can make it better, but it's really not worth it. So I'm just gonna do a playthrough there because it's been probably about 5 or 6 years since I played it, and I know it's gotten a little bit of a resurgence because Lobos Jr. has been like speedrunning it a lot lately. I've been meaning to replay it and cover it anyway. As you guys know, I love that Kingsfield style first-person RPG of old school FromSoft. Granted, Eternal Ring is insanely fast and mostly magic-based, but it still has that same feel to it. One that was definitely not on my radar, but is now, due to my current playthrough, Lennis 2, which is the sequel to Lennis, or Paladin's Quest. Spoiler alert, I'm loving Paladin's Quest. It surprised me, and I'm having a blast with it. And I've heard that Lennis 2 is better. It was a Japanese-only release, and I believe it does have a translation. I'll have to double check, but I think it does. And if it does, I will play that, because I'm loving the first one so much, and if the second one is indeed better, then I'm in for a treat. Next is a series that I haven't played through any of the games fully, and one that's been on numerous lists and been suggested and been this close, but never got to wrap around to it. I actually think that this was also in the race when I chose Phantasy Star 2, and that's Mother on the Famicom, aka, you know, Earthbound 1, whatever you want to call it. Everybody slobs over Earthbound on the SNES, Mother 2. I never really liked it that much growing up. Obviously, my mind is open. I will replay things all the time, but I like playing things in order, so I want to start with the first one. Yes, I know it's old, archaic, and grindy, whatever, but I want to get to it. And I will get to it this year, because it's been, again, this close, probably for years now. And then lastly, wrapping back around to old school FromSoft, I still haven't played Shadow Tower. So I do want to get around to that. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Kingsfield with guns is what I heard. So I'm in. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap this video up. Thank you for your continued support of the channel, whether you're a member or not, and you're just watching, liking, commenting, and subscribe to my channel. I truly appreciate it. And if you haven't done any of those already, please make sure to do so. Again, thank you so much to the members. Thank you to the community. You're honestly what keeps me going, because at this point, if I was still dredging around all these years at 100 subs or something, I don't know how motivated I'd be at this point to do things for the internet. But thank you so much. Take care. I don't know when this video is releasing. Happy holidays, happy new year, whatever. And onward and upward to a big 2025.